Today we're going to be building a looting witch farm. It's going to be a blast! That's right, a looting witch farm using TNT. That's going to be pretty cool and interesting, but why are we building a witch farm? Well, if we look in our storage, in our redstone box, we don't have a lot of redstone, so we're going to need some more redstone. That is the reason. But of course, the meta nowadays is to build a raid farm. Now, we will be doing that, a stacking raid farm in the future. I want to try and do something a little bit different, but why do we need redstone? Well, I've got a project board, and this is a big board of a bunch of stuff we're going to be doing. We've already spoken about our main storage, obviously a lot of redstone for that. We're going to have a new Hall of Fame coming back. We had that in season 1, so we're going to bring that back. It's going to be bigger and better than before. We've got our museum project, as we said before, all the mobs and blocks in the game, and we're going to have things like big redstone projects like the Nether perimeter. That's all coming into play. I've got a build plan for the end. It's going to be really big. I won't tell you what that is just yet, but yeah, that is going to be a massive build. We're going to need a lot of resources for that. We're going to have a big furnace array, nether hub, and of course we're going to try and spruce up world spawn as well. So here's my big project board. Obviously there's lots of snagging and little projects to do, farms along the way, but yeah, that is the main focus. And so this witch farm is going to be a bit of an experiment because I wanted to see what has 1.18 done to witch farms, and spoiler alert, it's ruined them, absolutely ruined them. But yeah, let's talk about that, and yeah, let me show you some numbers. And to demonstrate the number changes, let me show you this farm. This is my looting witch farm that I designed in 1.16. You can see how it works here. We have some flying machines that push the witches off the platforms into some water. Their despawn timer gets reset by the magma blocks. They take some damage. They then go up this bubble column all the way up to the top. It's quite a long journey up to the very top here where we have our AFK player waiting. The reason this player is up this high is so we can minimize the amount of spawn proofing we need to do. The witches come up here, and you can see we have a player here swinging away with a looting sword, and that's where we get our drops. And yeah, that's how the farm works. So in 1.17 and below, here are the rates. So we've got in 1.17 and below, we had 6,700 drops per hour, but just upgrading this world and running it again and doing the same test, 3,700. So we're losing 3,000 items per hour just by upgrading to 1.18. Of course, the reason for that is that the world is now deeper. So in effect, this farm is now higher up in the world, and so that has affected the spawn rate. So basically we get less witches, and so we get less drops. So the challenge for today is how can we try and improve the rates of this kind of farm using looting, and for that we're going to use some TNT. The first thing to do is to find a good location, and so I've been doing some scouting around, and I think I found the perfect place. Right here. So here we are in a swamp, and just over here is a witch hut. So this is the one we're going to use. We're going to build our farm around here, and there's the witch. She's come out. Let's see. In fact, let's just take care of her so she don't cause us any problems. There we go. Very good. And I've got together some items ready to build the farm. So let's talk about this and why we've picked this location, and yeah, how this farm's going to work. So this witch hut is pretty close to our starter village, so that's why I've selected it. And the reason I want to get on with doing a witch hut farm today is because 1.19 has the release date has been announced as I'm recording this. And when 1.19 comes out, some of these normal swamps are going to end up being mangrove swamps, and so we're going to have less witch huts in the world. And so yeah, these are going to be much rarer. And I thought I'd take the opportunity before this witch hut effectively disappears. So that's why I've come over here, and we're going to build it today before 1.19 comes out. So the first thing to do is to take this down, and then we're going to take you through how this farm is going to work. And there's quite a few technical challenges, some of which I've never done before. First of all, let's talk about how looting works. So basically, if you kill a mob with a looting sword in your main hand, then you'll get the looting effect. So let's kill this spider with my sword. There we go. But if I was to use my bow here and try and kill one of these mobs and keep the sword in my main hand when they die, then you'll get the looting effect. So we've got it on that creeper. I've got a flame on this bow, so you've got to be careful that they don't die of the fire. But if they die of the actual bow shot, then you'll get your looting effect as long as you've got a looting sword in your main hand. When it comes to TNT, if a TNT is lit by a player and that TNT then kills a mob, then that will be classed as a player kill. We can do that with a flint and steel or a flaming arrow, that will count, but if you use redstone like a button or a dispenser, then that won't count. So if we combine these two things, we can light the TNT, hold a looting sword in our main hand, and when that TNT kills some mobs, we'll get the looting effect. But why TNT, I hear you ask? Well, that's because, first of all, it's cool and it's a bit of fun. Secondly, I want to be high up in the sky in the AFK spot, so we don't have to do too much spawn proofing down here, but I want to kill the mobs down here. I don't want to bring them up like we did in the previous design, because the longer they stay around, the more chance there are of them despawning, and we need to kill them as quick as possible. So I want to use TNT. The problem we've got now is how do we get the TNT from up high in the AFK spot down here in time to kill them? Because if we light it up there and it falls down, it's got too far to come and it won't explode at the right point. It will explode too high up. So that is the next challenge, and what we're going to do is we're going to have to use a special type of arrow. What do I mean by that? Well, we need to create an arrow that is not going to despawn. Normally when you shoot an arrow and it comes into ground, over a period of time it will despawn. So we need to keep it alive so it doesn't despawn. And then what we also need to do, we need to align it perfectly. So if a TNT comes in close contact to it, it will light the TNT. So we can do that by having this kind of observer clock, having the arrow on top of a piston, and because it's continually moving, it won't despawn. So we need to combine all these things together. We need to have this kind of arrow, flaming arrow that doesn't despawn. We need to have some TNT coming across next to it so it lights the TNT, and then that TNT is going to kill the mobs. And when it does so, we've got to hold a looting sword in our hand and we should get some pretty good drops. We do have another problem though, and that is how do we get the TNT down to the arrow with the player so high up? Well, we'll solve that in a minute, but I think it's probably better to make a start on the farm, and I think it'll make much more sense as you see it being built. And part one of the farm is now done. We've got some fly machines that go across. They're going to swoop the witches over. There's our spawning platforms, the glazed terracotta. So let me show you what we've got so far. Let's fly up here, in fact, and hopefully we can show you what's what. So the first thing is we've got this tube that falls down here into some water right at the very bottom. This is where the TNT is going to be falling down, landing in the water, so it doesn't cause any block damage. But of course, when it explodes, it will kill the witches, which are going to be gathered over there. So the fly machines go across. They'll sweep the witches over. They'll fall down here, land into some water streams that push them over. There's magma blocks at the bottom to reset their despawn timer. And yeah, the fly machines will come across here, hit these return stations and go back. We also have a gap here. So if any witches spawn on this side, as the fly machine's coming back this way, it will push them down. They'll fall down there. And then there's more water streams down there to take them down to the front. So there we go. We've got some water streams here. So the witches will go this way. So basically wherever the witches spawn at any time, they'll get pushed into the center here. And these the water streams will gather them all up here. The TNT will come down this tube, blow them all up, and all the items will then get pushed this way through water into it's blocked up at the moment, but there'll be a water stream that takes them that way and then into some storage. The farm is dark inside and there's some witches in there already, which is a good sign. But yeah, I've done some more work. As you can see, I've added a roof on top with some redstone, some TNT and some lava. So this is all getting dangerous. So let me talk you through what we've got so far. So this might look a little bit complicated, but I'm going to try and briefly explain what's going to happen. So what we need to do first of all is get our arrow into place. So you do that by firing one right here. Now, because this arrow has been shot by me, this arrow is tagged with me as the player. So the game knows that it's me. And then we can align this. So we need to align this right in this corner over here. And we'll do that by pressing this button. So that piston moves it over to here. And then we press this button, which moves it right into the corner, and it's fallen down just over there. So now it's right in the corner of that concrete block there. Now we need to get it moving. So before it despawns, we need to get this piston moving up and down, as you saw before, and that is done by this lever right here. So it gets a bit noisy, but basically we have that observer clock which shoots up and which pulses up and down and keeps that arrow in place. So now if we remove this block right here, it should stay. There we go. Now if we put a TNT next to it, it will in fact light the TNT. Let's give that a try, shall we? If we put a TNT right here, it lights the TNT. So that TNT has in effect been lit by me, the player, and so that will account as a player kill. So we need to get the TNT in here now. Now you can see we've got this piston over here, which is firing. We're using the same observer clock, but the opposite way to this piston. So when this piston is up, this piston is down. And so if we can get a TNT into this side, it'll push it across and it'll get lit by the TNT, because as the arrow comes down, it will hit that TNT and light it. And now it's just a case of getting all of the TNT, and we've got a bit of a contraption here. So we're going to have a piston at the end that pushes TNT over here. It will get grabbed by that sticky piston, pushed along, and then into the system just there. So yeah, it's a little bit noisy, and hopefully that has worked and not blown anything up. Let's come down here because we've got water underneath. Yeah, there we go. So we've got some water underneath, and that will there we go, there's the witches. So they're taking some damage. And also I should say that up here where we were just a second ago, whenever we put, whenever a TNT gets pushed over here, then this also lights up this line, which goes and sets off the flying machine. So whenever there's a new TNT detected, the flying machines get started, witches get moved over, and yeah, the TNT gets dropped. And the lava is here to keep the arrow lit, because what will happen is, even though it won't despawn because of the piston, it will get extinguished and just turn into a normal arrow. And of course, we need it to be a flame arrow to light the TNT. So the lava is there to keep the arrow lit. So now all that's left is to deal with the TNT and the AFK spot, which is going to be high up in the sky. And we're going to be very high indeed. And now we need to overcome another problem, which is how do we get the TNT over here? So we're going to have the player placing down TNT and then getting it pushed down to here. But we're going to be a very, very high up in the sky. And obviously a piston only has a push limit of 12 blocks. And we've got to push it a lot longer than 12 blocks. So that is the next problem to overcome. And this little module is the solution. So I've done a little bit more building, not too much, but as you can see here, we've got our line of TNT that we're going to feed into the mechanism. And over here, we've got this piston here. So as blocks come down here, the observer there will see the blocks move and will power a bit of redstone, which powers that piston, which pushes them along into where we've got the arrow. But how do we get down? Because we're going to have the AFK spot high up in the sky, and we need to push the blocks down, even though there's a push limit of 12 on a piston. So let me show you how this works. So basically here, I'm going to be placing TNT here, and then we're going to have a clock that pushes this down periodically. That's going to be obviously high up in where the AFK spot is, but I've put it there for now. And then what's going to happen here is, as these blocks get pushed down by that piston above, the observer sees that, powers some redstone, powers this repeater with a little bit of delay, which powers this sticky piston, which pushes the slime block down, which will then take this block down and also a block that would have gone there. So there'll be a TNT here because the piston there pushes this column down, and then when that pushes down, it can push all of these down one, and then you again end up with one of these blocks coming here, and then that can then push across that way. So let me give you a quick demo. So if I come up here, I've got a button in place. So I just got to land here. Let me place a TNT here, press the button, and as I push this button, you should see the TNT come down and then across. But that was a bit fast, so let's have a quick action replay and see it again. So we push the buttons down, and there you go, the pistons push it over into the mechanism. Now we just need to build a bunch more, and then the AFK spot above. So I think we're going to do that, and also get some decoration around this place. I want to make this look a bit better than it does now, but also I don't want to hide it too much as well. I want to see the mechanisms working, so I've got to do a tricky balance between making this look like it's kind of okay and not just plonked in here. So yeah, let's get building, get the decoration in, and finish this farm up. The first thing to do is to build up to our AFK spot with our big tower of TNT and our modules that are going to push it down. Of course, we want our AFK spot as high as we can to limit the spawn proofing we need to do. And next to this tower, we're going to have a bubble column. This is going to be bringing up all the items from the witch drops, and also the XP, because this is a looting farm. Their player kills, we're going to get XP as well up to us at the top. And then at the very top, we're going to have this clock. This is what's going to be pushing down the pistons. Roughly every 15 seconds, we'll get a new TNT dispensed. And of course, we need to have a sorting system here to obviously sort out all the items that are going to come up. So just a standard sorting system right here to go into all those chests. That makes the farm operational, but now we need to add a little bit of decoration work. So here, like I said before, I didn't want to hide it away. I want to be able to see everything happening. So I just wanted to add a few elements of decoration just to make this look a bit better. So, but yeah, as we build up the rest of the decoration, one thing I must admit I'm tempted to is to think about duplicating the sand for the TNT, because obviously this farm is going to use up TNT every 15 seconds. So we're going to need something like 3.5 stacks of TNT to run this farm for an hour. Now, obviously, we're going to get some of the gunpowder back again as part of the drops. We also have a good gunpowder farm already, so that's not an issue, but sand certainly is. Now, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be duplicating sand or anything like that, but I think that's something we need in the game. We need to have renewable sand. Obviously, it's good for TNT, but also glass and concrete. So that's definitely something I think we need in this game somehow. And so because of that, this farm is not super practical, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun to try and work out all the mechanics and try and get this thing working. I've seen these kind of concepts before with the lit TNT, but yeah, I had fun trying to work out how to do it all, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. And now all that's left to do is to run this thing and give it a good test. There is the AFK spot high above the ground, and you can see I've tried to do some decorating here, but also allow everything to be seen. And there is all our TNT. There's a lot of TNT stored in this tower, and we come down here, and then we've got a little bit of decoration around here, not too much, but again, trying to hide some of it, but also I want to see it all working. So kind of trying to get that balance. And yeah, we've got some pillars here that are kind of holding up the roof. That's the kind of idea. But also the important thing here is I didn't want to add any blocks above the farm because that will also affect the rates. So yeah, we've got a little bit of constraint in terms of decoration, but I think it looks okay, not too bad. But yeah, I think yeah, probably room for improvement, but for the time being that is good enough. Now I want to give this thing a good old test, so let's go up to the top and let me show you around. So I've added this platform up here, which gives us nice easy access to all the drops, all nice and labelled and organised as you'd expect. And then up here I've continued the spiral, so we've kind of got this spiral going all the way up surrounding the TNT, and that goes up as well to here, which gives us a good way to kind of walk up here if we don't want to fly up. And then over here we've got a couple of things. So we've got a hopper clock over there that's got 20 items in it, so we get a pulse out of that roughly every 15 seconds, and that will then push this piston down. And then so we're going to be standing just here, looking at that, holding down our right click button to place the TNT here. Obviously we're going to do that in our offhand and have our looting sword in our main hand. And then as we do that, underneath here we've got an observer, so whenever this gets pushed down we get a signal through here into this dropper, which gives us a new TNT. So we can just stand here as long as we've got TNT with a bit of a buffer back here if we need it. And then here is the bubble column where all the items come up and then get pushed across this way. Now we're using this stone cutter here because items will float above that, but XP will not. Its XP is a bit bigger. So what will happen is they'll all come up here, get pushed that way, the items will go across and into the sorting system. The XP won't be able to go across, but of course because we're standing here, the XP will come across here and we'll be gathering XP as we use the farm. And here's the on-off switch for the clock right here. And of course over here just got a standard Impulse SV item sorter. That's all there just as standard. So I think yeah, let's give this thing a try, shall we? So I think first thing to do is there's a little procedure to turn this thing on. So you've seen it before, but let's come down here and yeah, get this thing activated. The first thing to do is to get our arrow in place. So we have to align it using our pistons and then turn on the clock to keep it in place. Then retract this block so we've got space for the TNT. And now we're up at the AFK spot. We can turn our clock on, and we just got to hold down right click here with the TNT in our offhand and our looting sword in our main hand, and it should just work. So let's hop on over to the camera account and see this thing going. So let's take a closer look at it, shall we? So here I am, and I'm placing down TNT. Just got my right mouse button held down. I used the F3 and T trick to do that while I'm using my camera account. So yeah, I'm just going to be sitting here placing TNT automatically. You can see the piston goes down, and then when it comes up again and relieves some space, then I've got space to put the TNT in. So you can see here around the other side, we've got should have some items coming up every now and again. So there's our bubble column, and if we come down here, we should hopefully see some items coming up. There we go. There's some items. There are items coming up. They go across, come over the stone cutter. You need to make sure you've got some ice underneath it, so they slide across and then go into the sorting system. So we're hoping to see some XP shortly. There should be some coming up, but yeah, let's come down here now. As you can see, as I place the blocks, we'll see the TNT get pushed down. So if I give you a good long shot of this as we come down, and you should see the TNT get moved down. There we go, all the way down. Really cool stuff. So let's scoot on down to here so we get a closer look of our dispensing system right here. So we've got these pistons pulsing at different speeds. So obviously for the arrow, they've got to be pulsing that quickly for it to work. And we've got the other pistons moving at different speeds just so they're offset so they can get in there and they don't get stuck by different pistons moving. So they get pushed in there, and you can see that as the TNT gets added and gets pushed in next to that piston, the TNT lights it and then it falls down the tube, and it should grab and should kill any witches underneath. There we go, that's gone down. So let's come down here. No witches just yet. There we go, there's one. she got blasted. But every time a TNT comes down, you should see that the fly machines get pushed across. There's a bunch of witches just spawned in there, so we should see in a few more seconds. There we go, the TNT has pushed the fly machines across. They push all the witches over, they get exploded, and all their items fall down into this water stream. There's some XP as well, comes across this this water stream and into the bubble column. And you notice that the XP isn't as fast as items. XP just floats up at normal water speed, it looks like. So that's something I wasn't expecting. But if we come up here, we should see some TNT. There's some XP rather, a bunch of XP. And if we come up to our player, we should see that coming in and being collected. There's more items. Yeah, this is really cool stuff. So we come up here, there's some XP just about to come across, and you can see that it gets blocked by the stone cutter, and our player can pick that up as we go. There you go, more wishes being pushed across into the TNT and exploding. Very cool stuff indeed. Yeah, this is really good fun, and some challenges involved. Not super practical, as we said, because we've got to use up the TNT, but there's another one coming down, and it should give these witches what for. Here we go. Ready? Kaboom! Oh, that's so cool. I love it. And so in my testing, this farm will produce around 5,000 items per hour. So that's a lot better than just upgrading our existing version to 1.18, but not as good as the previous version 1.17 due to the height world changes. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Happy that we beat the score of the previous design. But yeah, this is a lot of fun, but yeah, not very practical. And as I'm standing here placing TNT, gathering these resources, I think it's time to tell you a story of how we got our dogs back. After killing the dragon and rescuing Cassandra, she told me to return to the cave at nightfall. What do we have here? A book and some clothes. What does the book say? Logic, you have the ring already, put it on and trust that it will take you where you need to be. Keep yourself hidden. To free the world, you must destroy the Star of Ledora. Zorgon cannot survive without it. There is always time. Set yourself free, break the beam. Good luck, Cassandra. Okay, here goes nothing. Where am I? This place is huge.
Who are you? Where did you come from?
Wait, you must be Zorgon. Where are my dogs?
How dare you address me in this way? I am Zorgon, the Destroyer. Who are you? We have no dogs here.
My name is Logic, and you took my dogs. Where are they? You've been looking for me.
Never heard of you, but you seem to know more than you should. What is that you hold, boy? Wait, you have the Ring of Cassandra. The power to control 4 dimensions. Guards, seize him. I want that ring. Lord Venom, find me this Logic. That ring, the weapon, is mine.
Where am I now? Maybe our dogs are here. I can hear voices.
Welcome to the Rift for all eternity.
There is something in this portal.
There is no escape from this place. You are doomed.
Wait, that's me in the Rift. But that was ages ago. The book said, set yourself free, break the beam. This must be the House of the Withers. Wait, let's go back.
Wait, you? How can this be? This is impossible. No, you can't. Our work will be undone.
Looks like we're back home at spawn now. Phew. This ring, so it allows travel through space and time. It was me that freed myself from the rift all along, but it was also me that alerted Zorgon to the ring in the past. Dang, I can't let my past self see me. It'll either result in shock and us both passing out, or it could create a time paradox, the result of which could cause a chain reaction that would unravel the very fabric of the space-time continuum and destroy the entire universe. Granted, that's a worst case scenario. Let's hide over in that village and put these clothes on that Cassandra left for us as a disguise. Looking pretty sweet, and now we can avoid destroying the entire universe. I think we should keep an eye on Logic and help him out as best we can, but obviously we need to stay hidden. We can't risk destroying the universe. Past Logic is busy caving, so we need to protect him from these zombies. At this stage, he could be killed by them. So let's get rid of them, and yeah, let's run out of the way before he sees us. One sec, what was that noise? I heard there's some zombie or something going on. What is going on? I haven't been down here. Why is there a torch here? Wow, look how empty this place is. I want to leave Past Logic a message to help him on his way. Quick, let's hide, but keep an eye on Logic. This is so weird. I remember those papers. I remember finding them. Then I came outside and looked around, but I couldn't find anyone. But look, I'm right here behind this tree. Oh man. Now what else did I do? Oh yes, the zombified villager and that witch who gave me a lot of problems. And they're around building the iron farm. We need a name tag for that zombie, remember? Now what did I call it? Oh yeah, that's it. Trust Cassandra. Okay, let's go. Let's get up there. Okay, so lift off and let's line up. Got to make this drop count. It's going to drop it out and hopefully Logic will catch it. Chucks away. Oh yes, the entrance to the fortress. Let's clean up a few of these hoglins. I'll leave that baby one over there. I'm sure Past Logic won't have any problems with that whatsoever. This was heartbreaking, the attack by Zorgon, and yeah, he took my dogs. So let's leave Logic a message so he knows what's going on. And yeah, let's go and pop this in the house. So I've renamed the book Read Me, so it's nice and obvious. And yeah, I remember finding this book now. This is so cool. All right, okay, let's leave that there for him. And yeah, let's get out of here. The stronghold. I know I'm going to forget those arrows. So let's have a look in my ender chest and see what I've got. Turns out I only have enough to make one arrow. So let's put this chest up here. We've got to be quick though for those silverfish. They're going to bother us, and I think I can hear Logic behind. There's lots of doors opening and whatnot as he's exploring. So let's just dig in here quickly and hide. Yeah, and then cover this thing up so he doesn't see us.
I knew you would come to me. Your compassion is your weakness.
Hand them over, Zorgon.
Guards, bring me his head.
There's too many of them.
Give me the weapon. The ring is mine.
Yahoo!
What?
You're all clear, kid. Logic? Yeah, from the future. A bit grey, but things are good. Now get that Star of Lidora over there on the throne. Right. Got it. Now what? I'll get the dogs out of here. You destroy that thing.
No, you can't. This world is mine.
You're fired. So there you have it. That's how we got our dogs back. Zorgon is defeated, and future Logic, well, I guess he's gone back to his own timeline. Looking a bit grey. But anyway, that was a lot of fun. And yeah, this means the world is free for us to continue building lots of farms and contraptions as we go.